one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Ask you to be seated, and you ask the recording treasurer to call the roll.
Barnes.
Here.
Hastings.
Here.
Lynch.
Here.
Pistol.
Here.
Ward.
Here.
Williams.
What? He's on his way. Entertain a motion, second approval of the agenda for tonight.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? I'll ask for a vote.
Barnes.
Yes.
Hastings.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Pistol.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
You have in front of you the minutes from the June 12th meeting and also the monthly financials. I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve those as presented.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Any discussion? I'll ask for a vote.
Barnes.
Yes.
Hastings.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Pistol.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
There's Williams. Welcome, Dewey. Brings us down to department head reports. Airport Commission, I do not see Trevor. I talked to Susan. I think everything's going good. I missed the last meeting. I was out of town. I did meet the Bank OZK manager, or the regional guy. Bill Bain introduced me to him. Randy, I think he's working on some stuff with the Airport Commission, so nice fella. But I don't have much on that. I think everything's going as scheduled. Brings us to animal control. Rita, did anyone have her report? I have no. Okay. I think she was out pretty late last night. And I talked to her this morning. She sounded not good. She sounded like she was worn out. So I apologize for that. I usually print everything off, but I did not get that report. I've actually got nothing printed off. So I know they're pretty close to full up. I think they adopted a couple of dogs the last time they did it. I know she works hard, and her daughter and those grandkids are an asset to our community for sure. Brings us down to fire department. Chief, D.L. Webb.
It's been busy this month. We worked a vehicle accident out here in front of McDonald's just yesterday, I believe it was. We also had a truck fire. As everybody knows, we saved McDonald's from burning to the ground, even though, contrary to belief in the Facebook world. We had an assist for a vehicle fire for All Red. They paged us out because we were closer to it than they were. Stalled vehicle over on 1665. A couple of alarms going off at residents and at Leffler Estates. It's a pretty much regular thing there. The fire station is pretty much done. They just got like little bitty things, but they've turned it over to us. So we're starting to move some stuff in there. It's going good. If there's any questions I can answer, I'll be glad to try to answer them.
Justin Lee call you?
No.
He was missing y'all in the truck. He's wanting you
I'm
back.
sure he is.
And I think you're working out a rental agreement with.
We got with Chad working that out.
Good. Looks great up there. Good choice of location. It looks really good. Anything for the chief? You probably have to run. I was thinking one of you. Anyway, go when you need to. Thank you very much, Chief. Brings us down to Parks and Rec. We'll start with the Parks. Charles Wilson.
Everything's going pretty good. It's looking good down there. The grass is still growing wide open. We get just
Grass
enough
is
rain
growing.
to have to mow every day. So it actually looked pretty good. I mean, it's hot and it's not as dry as everybody would think. But
No, it's not even
any
good.
question.
You still get stuck.
Answering the best we can. Are they going to be back with the soccer ball nets? Somebody did call me, said they were missing them soccer ball nets. There's a couple of them. They said we loved coming down and playing. So
Pretty sure they're going to do a fall league, but it'll probably be later August, September.
and he's like, well, I sure miss them right now. So
Yeah, that was popular.
it was. There was a lot of kids come in
Y'all did
and
a
played
good
on
job
it all day
locating it
during
and
the
keeping
days.
it mowed, and everybody really enjoyed that. So we've been after that. Anything else for Charles? Or all right, brings us down to the street department. That'll be Charles Wilson.
We've been setting some culverts. We've got cleaning up Razorback. We got some stumps and stuff out of the way. Got one new culvert down in the bottom swag. There's 3 more in between that strip that's got to come out. And working with Will, we're thinking we're going to move that water line over, widen that up just a little bit now that all the timber's out of the way, and get that where that's a good road through there.
You said Razorback, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's hard to drive past it if you're used to driving through the pines your whole life. And
it looks totally different now.
Yeah.
They got all the stumps off the bank, and they got that bank where I can mow and
Yeah.
not be hitting stumps and all that. So we're cleaning it up. It's gonna look good when we get done. So, and we're fixing to set a couple new tiles over on Cemetery Road. We got several tiles going in, several different places. It's been water problems, so trying to get them all fixed before it starts raining again.
Anything with the tile on the road to the school?
Yeah, my deal is Rob Waters. I talked to him. Yeah, we've got a pretty generic engineering deal draw that's going to, I think, pass the up to snuff. I think Rob has been talking with Tavy at Russellville. You have to have some sort of drawing to tie
Yeah,
in.
you can't just go in and drop one. So
Right, I just didn't know what kind of progress we've made.
he's working it out with Tabby. Once he gets
It's actually, I talked to Rob. He was going to try to be here today, and he's running a little bit late. Still wants to talk to y'all about the swapping out some little bit, adding on some land or trading with an easement or 90 or a easement through there. But I'll talk to him about that. That's the two things for Rob Waters. A lot of mowing, and Clausmeyer really running a lot of stuff downtown and stuff. Yeah.
construction everywhere.
I'll tell you, when they cover stuff back up,
They've been doing a pretty good job.
They're doing a very
Even
good job.
the guys that's working with Will,
They tear it up, but they're doing
they've
a lot
done a
of
good
work.
job. So far, it's
Yeah, they're a lot better than Will and his crew.
You ain't kidding. I wish we'd pass places like that.
Yeah. No, everybody does a good job, but they're really they're top notch for sure. Appreciate them for sure. That's all I have on street. Nope, that's all I have.
and they should start on that loop up there in front of Walmart and all that. They should start that any time. I've not got a call from them, but they've released the bids and everything and approved it. So that's why I was in such a
Got a
rush.
big
to set
shout
that
out
up.
from someone that that settled that tile up there by the daycare, and then they called and said, "Hey, it's getting fixed it within a couple of hours or something."
Yeah.
So thank y'all for doing that.
Are you putting another one in there? I saw one laying there.
No. But I was going to put that one in, and that was the size that was in there, and we had trouble with it, and I could get it deep enough to sit that bigger one, so I doubled the size up.
It's like a lot of things. It's been engineered just so far, and then Charles went up there and walked it out, and to move that water, it's always a concern for the phone company, but I think you got
I've
that.
got one more issue, two more issues to clean out, but we're kind of, like I said, it's still wet. We dove off in that and got stuck, and I'm afraid if we dove off in it right now, we'd still be stuck, even as hot as it is. But yeah, there's some cleanup. We'll start cleaning all that up next week, and hopefully they'll start that paving pretty quick. Get all that. I didn't realize there's that much heavy traffic, but there is a lot of heavy traffic. Lots of heavy traffic.
Concrete, you got everything.
Concrete.
Sat stickers at the new fire station.
Yeah.
Semi-trucks.
Yeah, we're gonna put
trucks.
something up there
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
there's lots of heavy traffic there.
Okay, there's one other thing, but we'll circle back later. I'll interrupt somebody. Anything else for Charles? Thank you. Hope you get all your moving, whatever you're doing on the weekends. Yeah, get it done. So, all right, it brings us down to Police Department Chief Jay Murdoch.
Outside of my report, got a couple things to pass on to y'all. For the most part, a holiday weekend went without a hitch, except we had an officer injured on the job. They were helping push a car out of a road ditch, and they heard something pop, had to go to the emergency room. Think it may be a partially torn Achilles tendon, so we don't know how long until we get the MRI done. Dina was great helping us with the workman's comp paperwork, so thank you, Dina. So we don't know how long she's going to be out.
Was that the truck over here right just past the bridge that was in 65? They were pushing it
Yes.
out of the road.
Was it a black?
Yeah, it's a big truck. I mean, it's
Yeah.
3/4 ton anyway.
Yeah. Yes.
And it looked like she was the only one pushing whenever I was coming up on it.
Well, I was late
You
for
didn't
where
get
I
out
was
and
going.
It was off the road by the time I got there, but she's the only person I seen pushing on.
He was there with his foot on the brake.
I was on my way to church. I didn't want to be late. Yeah.
Okay, so there were actually two of them pushing, so,
Oh, I'm sure there was. She's the only one I could see.
it was just one of those kind of freak things, you know. It's like I tell my guys, police work's a contact sport, and unfortunately sometimes we get hurt, so we hope everything goes well with her. We got audited by the Commission on Law Enforcement Standards and Training. It's the first. I've been here 15-ish years. First time it's happened. I would say we passed with a B+. I think we had a couple things in our personnel files we had to fix that just as a review I missed. So it's 100% on me. But we've got those mostly fixed. We've got 30 days to get it complete. We're waiting on some stuff from the state police, but we should have that back by the end of next week. So we'll be in 100% compliance. Another thing, we're going to try to apply for the state police's mini step grant. And what that does is it's 100% reimbursable overtime for our officers. And like when you guys hear the click it or ticket, drive sober or get pulled over, when they do those mobilizations, what they do is they release out some money for our officers to go out and work DWI enforcement, speed enforcement, sometimes seatbelt enforcement.
What?
I mean, not that I'm looking at any one person in this room, but so we're going to apply for that. I don't know if we'll get it. I hope we do. And if we get approved for it, I'm going to have to come back get approval from you guys to say, yeah, it's good to go for the reimbursement stuff. Other than that, one last piece of bad news for me: Miss Terry is retiring. Her last day is the last day of this month.
Wow.
Miss Terry has been in and out of the criminal justice system since I started here. Well, started in law enforcement 20 years ago. And she's been my right-hand person since I've been chief. I don't know that I could have done as well without her. So we're going to miss her. Yeah, other than that, if you had any questions.
She'll be hard to replace.
Almost impossible.
Yeah.
Thursday, the 31st. That's the last day? You said last day of the month? Okay.
That black car, the last black car, new car you bought down, are you going to stripe that or?
No, that is going to be my detective car.
Okay.
And on that, I contacted Arkansas Valley. They are waiting on one gun rack and one light bar for us to get our cars upfitted. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I've been saying this for 2 months now, hopefully we'll get it into this month versus next month.
Well, you built a good force. You got a good team, and you've done it. You got a good department.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else for the chief? Brings us down to water and sewer department. Chief Will Hinchy, so long.
All right. First off, I apologize for being late. Our other meeting ran a little late, so we got started late. I'll let you guys get out of here first.
I gotta go feed cows.
I'm headed right after you. All right, so chemical cost was 16 cents per thousand.
Jake. Go ahead. Sorry. 16
cents per thousand. Water loss for Clinton was 27%, and I'd like to just stop right there. Clinton as a whole, remember that, was 27%. Our little Burnt Ridge system by itself was 42%, and Dennard by itself was 39%. I was so excited last month about 35% at B Branch. Well, we're at 59%. When we read meters last month, or the month before, it was our first month of reading their meters, we actually read the meters right. So there's a little zero at the end of those meters that doesn't move. So every one that you see pop up and it goes to 2, that's not 1 gallon, that's 10. For all those years, those have not been read that way. So when we go through and we read them and then we do our water loss, we've sent some we didn't send them out. We missed a few and sent some of them out, but there was some real high usage just went out there. So we corrected that, and then that's why our report looked so good. That's because we hadn't sent those out and reviewed those bills and everything. So 35% last night. Well, I lied to you guys. I'm sorry. But we are better than 75,
Right.
so we're getting there. I'm really hoping, I'm going to talk to you about these meter projects. It's coming up pretty soon. But anyway, we're at 59% at B Branch, so we're still keeping them out. We've not had any major outages. We've just been shutting off separate lines. We usually just have one street down. The customers are really liking that and not being out all the time. So anyway, we'll go on. Was we going to handle the resolution during this, or we got that on the agenda after?
It's gotta be during, it's not on the agenda.
Yeah, it's under new business.
The
Yeah.
resolution is? Okay.
B Branch, yeah.
Okay, so couple other things. We in water board meeting, we just accepted these bids. I'll go ahead and just tell you what we had. We had a tank rehabilitation. We had 4 different bids that went out for B Branch projects. We accepted these through our board tonight. I'll just go ahead and give you the low bid on these. For the tank rehab projects, we had $1,148,200, and that's Viking Painting. These are all the low bidders. For the meter project, we had $1,155,492.94. That is Mid-South Meter Group. It's a little different name than what did ours, but it's the same. The guy that was managing the crew started his own business, so the guy that did the Clinton meter installs is who this is. So we only actually had one bid on that. B Branch water line replacement. There's 2 different water lines that are getting replaced. That bid come in at $848,793. And then our last one was the raw intake pump rehab at the water treatment plant, and that come in at $1,012,000 even. So we did accept those bids. That will go to A&R. These letters of recommendation, and we'll go to A&RC for approval, and after that we can actually award these bidders and getting closer to closing.
But a lot of those, the B Branch stuff that's on there, that's still coming out of the ARC.
This is all ARC.
It's
Yes.
all, okay.
Yeah, none of this will be completely awarded or anything. These will be awarded, but we won't start any projects until we do the final closing. Well, first we got this resolution tonight, and then there's a lot more to come thereafter. We're more than likely have to ask for an extension on that August 30th date that we originally come up with. Other things, so we have an easement issue on the sewer line in the river over here. There was 2 easements that we needed to do that project, and we weren't able to get that. So we went back and forth, and last month my water board did give me the go-ahead to take it by eminent domain if we couldn't come up with an agreement. So we ended up giving Chad the go-ahead, and he started looking into the processes. We had to go and get an appraiser, so we were going to have to get a retainer for that. Looking back and forth and starting to get serious about taking it by eminent domain. And then that customer, or that person that we were trying to get the easement for, he did come back with an offer through his lawyer. So we got an email. Email subject title was settlement offer for city easement through Dawson Trust. So Trevor and Cassie Dawson and their trust have requested the amount of $10,012 for that easement, and that's to reimburse them for costs that they've had through this process. And that easement length, there's 202 feet on that easement. Normally our standard has been below $6, but the highest we went is $6 per running foot. This puts it around $49.50 per foot if you do it per foot easement, but it's saying this is for reimbursements for his costs for looking into the issue. So this, just as a reminder, this is the sewer line that's in the creek over here. It's exposed, and we've got it cabled up and we're gonna move everything back and bore the mountain, and he owns on top of that. And there, this easement's gonna be 40 feet out in front of his house. It's gonna be 60 foot deep down below, so kind of away, it's like 70 feet from the building. The easement does not say that he can't build on top of it or anything. It's been changed. You know, most of our easements that we pay for, he can't build on top of. So this is a 10 by 10 square that we've asked for. We're going to do a 2-foot bore, steel encasement, concrete, and caulking in between the gravity sewer lines. So this being a big change, accepting this, going from $6 to this new, and we not running this. I wanted this to be brought to a council and be talked about in a public meeting before I accepted to pay this amount for an easement. So we basically have two options. We vote to accept this offer. We would actually have to have probably an actual, this is just an email, so we'd actually probably have to have an actual offer, and then we would have to accept it with some. In this also says that the city would pay for any damages done during the construction. So, you know, right now we'd probably put that on the contractor. They're licensed and bonded. I mean, it would probably be covered under the contractor. But I just wanted to bring this to the city council's attention and get the water board voted to bring this to you, and as a board, this is probably our cheapest option and best for the water department. So I do bring this as a recommendation, but I wanted you guys to know what was going on.
In other words, it costs us a lot more to do the eminent domain thing.
More than likely, it could. It couldn't cost us anything, but I don't see that happening.
Well, no, it's going to cost.
Yeah, it's going to cost me $4,800 to even get an appraiser.
So the way eminent domain works, and I know of one time that this city water department has had to use eminent domain, and since I've been city attorney, so
before I started, yeah,
I've been pretty successful in not having to go that route. But the way eminent domain works is you can do it a couple of different ways. The way I'd recommend, I mean, you can do inverse condemnation, just go out there and do your work and then wait for them to sue you, but I wouldn't recommend doing it that way. So you file your actions, and when you file that action, the government, which our body, we file that, and you get basically a writ of possession immediately, or an order of possession. So you get possession, the ability to use the property right then. You put in the registry of the court, or you put in an offer on what you believe the property's value is that you're taking, and you put that in there, and then the landowner has something called Landowner's Bill of Rights. They have a right to a jury trial on that issue of whether you put in proper value for the property that you took. If a jury awards 20% more than that amount, then that landowner gets awarded their attorney's fees. And so that's sort of the risk, to make sure that the government's giving just value for its property, is that if you take that to a jury trial and they offer more, then you end up paying that person's attorney's fees. So it can be a big cost if you lose your jury trial. My recommendation would be, like I said, I sought out an appraiser that specifically could do right-of-way work that was significantly more expensive than just finding a general appraiser. The appraisal I use on typical stuff, I called him. He recommended this group out of Little Rock. I called them. I had a consultation with them where I talked to them about what we're doing. Again, basically, I am confident that they would do competent work that would try well in front of a jury, but it's a $4,800 retainer for this appraisal company. It's a non-refundable retainer. Probably to get them through a jury trial, that's probably going to be what their costs are going to be. So with my city attorney contract, I offer services to the city, and there's an additional contractual option that you can retain me for things like this at $150 an hour. So it's a reduced rate over what I charge in my private practice, but you'd be out your cost. You'd be out to your cost, or the water department would be at your cost for my fees up to that point. And then the landowner, through the Bill of Rights, has the option to have their appraisal services. They have a right to have their own appraisal done. That's a cost that you would have to bear out. And then again, if they're successful in a jury trial, you've got the risk of their attorney's fees. So, I mean, we filed this thing. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try to do it the right way so that we can defend this in front of a jury, which is why you go get a good appraisal on the front end when you file this. But long story short, yes, $10,000. It doesn't. I don't believe that is the value of the property that is being taken. I'll be very clear. I am confident that that is not the value of the property that is being taken. However, if you look at this as a cost of litigation, $10,000 is probably on the low end of what you're going to pay. And so the question for you is probably more about whether you want to do this to set an example that we're going to pay what property is worth, but not more than property is worth. And we're going to try to be right in front of the jury. Or you look at this pragmatically and say, we can get this thing done tonight and get this thing signed and settled and done and not have to have a public lawsuit that we're going to be talking about for the next couple of years.
And that could hold up the whole project.
Well, that's not necessarily true, because when we file the action, so they asked for a 30-day lead time on the appraisal. So let's say you say, no, forget it. I want you to go do condemnation. I'll contact this appraisal company. We'll pay them the retainer, and they said they have an appraisal report done in 30 days. I'll have the petition ready to go in that 30 days. So probably about mid-August, I'd be filing the lawsuit. You file your lawsuit, and you get an order. You can get an order of possession at that point, and then you serve the landowner, and they have a right to file their response. So the project can start basically when the action is filed. You got to go to the judge and show them that you need the property, but you don't have to wait. So probably mid-August, late August, you're going to have an order of possession on, if you go the condemnation route. If you vote to approve this tonight, I think like next week we'll probably have something done with the easements in your hands. So,
And the reason for this is because the river moved and our easement's in the middle of the stream now.
We're going to be getting out of our existing easement. Yes.
you already have an easement and sewer line over this landowner, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because this landowner goes to the river, so you already have a sewer line going over this landowner. You're moving the sewer.
It's about 30 foot.
30, I would say 30 feet from the river into the cliff, the bluff.
Yeah. There was 2 easements needed for this project. I have one, and this is the second. So this is the holdup.
But if we approved it to, let's say
The other one's already signed and give it to us. One of the sewer line, one of the sewer line moved out of the river.
One of them you have to pay. You didn't have to pay anything at all.
Exactly. Yes.
That's the problem. I mean, it sets a precedence. It's like that's why I don't like. I mean, it's substantially more than what we've ever paid. So why did this come up? You know, we need this.
I'll say this because I would push back on the idea that if you approve this number that you would be setting a precedent so that now your number is $40 a foot. I would push back on that notion because this particular landowner claims, and we hadn't really dug down into those numbers and the bills or whatever, but he's claiming that he has spent a lot of this is money that he spent to investigate potential damage and attorneys, and whether you want to believe that or not, that's the claim, and so that's why that's part of the request.
Damage to what?
His expense. Could we ask for
the house by the operations? It doesn't matter whether I agree with it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether he says he spent that
I'm trying
money.
to understand.
Well,
I'm trying to understand
asked for
that
an itemized
individual's
bill.
logic to go from what we pay to 9 times what we pay. What was his logic on doing that?
So that's what, Will, I know you didn't want to talk about all of it, but I think you should do a recap of everything from beginning to end, the negotiation process, so everybody can understand how we got here and how many times he's changed his mind and how this is not official. He can change this if we vote for it. You know, he can come back and say, well, I changed my mind. I want to. So I just like Will to tell the whole story from beginning to end, how this came to be.
It's an offer that, in my opinion, can be acted on. So I see what you're saying. At the end of the day, you say, "Oh, it's signed," but it's an offer that I believe we could say the city accepts your offer, and it's a contract, okay?
Right.
We'll need to put it in some sort of form that has people who are signing things, but I believe it's actionable, so.
And I'll say this, and I do want to kind of I'll say this, but we live in a thing that's perception is reality. And you can say, well, I don't think that sets a precedent, but actually it does. And if it doesn't set a precedent, it definitely sets a range that the water department's never had, from $6 to 50. And when you live in a city that's got 2,600 people in it, and pretty much 3/4 everybody's kin to everyone, okay, then that's where the reality sets in.
Well, I just, for the record, like,
it may not be
the whole story
council.
be out on the.
Yeah, it may not be this council that deals with another issue down the road, but it will be. It'll be something else, and they'll cite whatever decision we made here to justify.
Because when you write that check, what's it gonna say?
It'd have to be easement.
It's gonna say easement on it,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, we're not gonna, for auditors and everything else, it will say easement.
Could we ask for an itemized receipt of what he's wanting us to pay
If
for?
you guys vote tonight to do this, I've already talked to Chad, I recommend you do due diligence to make sure that there's a timeline on how far you're willing to pay for damages, because if that contractor does something and it damages it, or it doesn't damage it, and then something happens 5 years down the road, I can't go to this contractor. So we need to have an agreement drawn up. So I will say that, and I will say, the only reason that we made the recommendation to push to accept this was I got to think what's cheapest and best for the water department, because, yeah, every customer in here, it gets passed to them. I mean, if I have to spend it, it gets passed down the line eventually. I just want you to know that's why we came to that agreement and brought this recommendation to you. I don't like it, but I'm not allowed to get mad at stuff like this. I just have to go on. But first off, it was just me and Trevor talking, like back and forth. Took him the easement. We were actually going to get it signed at the bank, and his wife wasn't able to come, and his wife's name was on it. So we went from that to he had his lawyer look at it. His lawyer didn't like the wording. In the original, in his defense, the original did say it's one of the ones we do for everybody. If we pay for an easement, you don't build on top of it. In this case, there's no reason to have that. We're 60 foot below. He can build whatever he wants to on top of it. It's going to be still encased. It's never going to hurt. So I told him at that point, if you don't like it, I did. So there is a wording in this letter, and I can pass this around, or this email, that says that he was promised reimbursement for his expense by the mayor and the water manager. I did say we can compensate your lawyer to draw up an easement that you're happy with. When I told him that, the contractors were going to be on site the next day. And he told me not to have any contractors on his property until he had that easement. He wasn't settled yet. And I said, I can pay for the easement. He said, not interested in money for the easement. But I'm going to have my lawyers not happy with this. So, anyhow, his lawyer never did draw up the easement. Actually, Kyle, engineer, he drew up the easement. The easement got changed to where he could build on top of it. And we were only a 10 foot by 10 foot square, 60 foot down below his property, and the wording was fine at that point. It was a subsurface easement. We didn't have any easement up on top. So we got that part. And then we were back and forth. At that time, I was talking to Trevor, and then I got a call from Trevor's lawyer. Trevor's lawyer is now contacting to me, so I don't talk to Trevor anymore. So he calls me with wanting to know if I was the person he needed to talk to settle this easement deal, and I said yes. And he said, so do you have the authority to make those decisions? And I said yes. And he said, well, we're thinking starting out we just don't want to pay water bill anymore. So then at that point I laughed it off and told him, I said, you are a lawyer and you're asking me to do something illegal. That's not legal. I cannot do that, and I won't do that. So then we went on, and then at that point I quit talking to the lawyer, and Chad was representing us at that point. And at first it was just, hey, we just need to get this agreement, let's back and forth, and then it got serious and we started the eminent domain. But apparently I do know he is hired and had the land surveyed, which when he bought the property, it didn't have a survey. But he hired the same survey company to tell him where this was going to go that the contractor hired.
So we already had a survey.
So that surveyor, the survey company come one day to do it for him, come the next day to do it for the contractor.
And that's part of the expenses he wants us to pay.
Part of his money has been out.
So, I mean, I'm not slandering anybody. You guys know the facts. This is not a decision that I wanted to make without city approval.
Was the free water the only thing he offered to settle with before this?
I think so. That's the only thing that he ever offered to me. He might have made another offer to Chad.
I've never. So we made the offer that was.
We made an offer to
the cities,
them.
which is $6 linear foot is kind of
Yeah,
the
it was
cities
$1,212.
standard policy
is what we
without,
offered him.
without going through. Yeah, and
I thought I heard somewhere there was a $200,000 offer at one time.
I think there was some discussion of an offer that would be coming. And I'm not really gonna go into all that, but the expectation was that the offer that would be coming would be very high.
Yeah.
So.
Looking at the map or property here, I guess the Corps of Engineers owns between that and Red River Golf Club. So you couldn't just move the location.
We're trying to get it out of the river.
You'd have to cross it and
We've
get.
already asked that because
Yeah.
it's gravity feed where it's at. That's what it's got to be gravity.
If you'll remember in the past, we come to you with two proposals. We were going to put a pump station down here, and we are going to pump it over the mountain, or for the same money, we could bore the mountain and then not have electric costs and a pump station from here on out. And we chose to do this bore. At that time, Mrs. Rogers owned that property. And we did not start the project, and I had talked to her and everything, but by the time we actually started the project, got the money and everything, and went for the easement, she didn't own it anymore. It was
I think either route, am I correct that either route requires going over this land?
across his property. Actually, I'll be going over several more properties if we pump it around, I would think. But
Don't mind if I I'm sorry. My name's Clint McHugh. I'm an attorney from Cabot, and I've
he's
helped with the
representing
Bee
us on
Ranch.
the resolution of taking over Big Branch acquisition.
And the way I came into contact with Will is really through Kyle, and I've had the fortune or misfortune, however you characterize it, of representing a bunch of different water companies and utilities. So I've seen this problem. Chad and Will, y'all tell me to shut up at any point. Chad is absolutely right. I advise the same thing he does. It's condemnation's last resort. I mean, it just is. It doesn't. You spend way more money than what the property is worth that you are taking. However, there's sometimes where you have to do it. You're talking about precedents and worried about how that projects to everybody else. They will know. I'll also tell you, just again from my experience, I've been doing it for years, is people are getting more contentious now, and people have their hands out like they never did before. You went years without having to pay for an easement, and that was the norm. That's just not the case anymore. You're dealing with a trust, and there's multiple people probably with the ability to make a decision or input, and you're going to see it more and more, unfortunately. As Chad said, all you're required to do is pay what the value of that property is worth. The way you've described it, it's not worth much. I mean, it's rock and a side of a hill. It's not like it can be a subdivided or developed or anything like that. So, your appraisal is going to be, that $1,200 may be even high on it because you're going to ask for an easement, not fee simple. You got to, and Chad is correct. The biggest expense that you'll do besides him is the appraiser. Most appraisers run from doing anything that involves easement acquisition or eminent domain. I mean, you just can't find anybody that will do it because they know they're subjecting themselves to having to go to court. So it is difficult. I've got somebody else if you want to. If y'all decide to do that, I can give you another name just for. You're using
Firstal.
Firstal, yeah, Firstal. He is the to take into court the best one you can find. I mean, there's no doubt. He's also the most expensive. Firstal's good. I've used him before, and because I had to, and he would do it. But you're asking for easement. You're not asking for fee simple. I mean, just the value of the property is going to be. My guess would be fairly minimal. Would you say 200 something feet?
202 feet.
202 feet, and not buildable property and you're not taking their land, it's still going to be their land.
That's 40 feet underground.
Yeah, I mean, cleanup will be a pain, but you're going to do that regardless, whether you go easement or not. I mean, eminent domain or not. What I've always advised the board, the same thing as Chad, is don't do eminent domain, unless you have to. Just don't do it. What I've also pushed them to do is pay for an appraisal and see what it is. I mean, you'll know what that gap is at the moment, because all you're going to do is you're going to deposit that whatever that amount of appraisal is, and nothing more. And then they do have the ability to go to jury trials, as Chad said, and the only issue is value. They're going to say it's worth $10,000. You're going to say it's worth $1,200, and what happens in between that? There is some argument on the recovery of attorney's fees. They don't quit. They don't start their clock and getting fees until the suit's filed. So all this pre-work that they're trying to recover, it's arguable that they're not entitled to recover that. And it sounds like they're. The other thing to keep in mind is if you're having to pay $4,000 for an appraisal, if they want to go to court, they're going to have to pay for an appraisal, and they're going to have to find somebody to go to court on a easement, an eminent domain as well. So, at some point there is a line that they won't want to cross, whether it's financially or what. So I didn't mean to jump in. I apologize. Just 2 cents worth, that's a lot of money. I mean, like I said, I've done this a time or two, and it's an awful position to be in.
I appreciate having another.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Everything Chad said, absolutely correct, and I'm the same way as him.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it. I will just say you don't want to take somebody's property. It's a bad look. I mean, just publicity wise. However, you certainly can explain it if it gets asked. They're holding you hostage for what appears to be an inflated amount. So don't feel bad on that. And then everybody's going to know how much you paid for that. I mean, it's just going to become a public record. But as small as y'all are, the people talk.
I think one thing we've kind of talked about, I'll agree with you, and as a society we are becoming more litigious. I'm in court a lot more than I used to be, and I probably as a board need to be a little more, I hate to say aggressive, but that's probably when we take these projects on, early on, because I think in trying to work with this landowner, we've maybe put ourselves in a little bit of a time crunch that now, so I think in the future, when getting an appraiser in, whoever it is, and I'd love to talk to you about your other ideas, but getting an appraiser in that you have a relationship with, so that we can make that part of the process, is probably something we need to be part of and be thinking about, because it's. At some point, you kind of pick your battles, and if this is the one that we got to pick, so be it. But
you don't get to choose those battles.
Yeah, and I do think that people don't like eminent domain. People don't like the idea of having their property taken. I bet no one in this room would like the idea of somebody taking their property. Jurors, I think, are more sympathetic to water departments because they're providing a valuable service that kind of helps everyone. And the merits of this project are extremely important because nobody wants to hear about sewage dumping into the Little Red River. So, but as a litigator, I'm just looking at the dollars and cents and the pragmatic side of things. Again, lawyers, we love to talk, so I love to just make the argument that it's not really setting any sort of precedent to change things. But I know what you're saying, though. The neighbor says, "Yeah, last time you did this," and they're going to hold you over the coals. I would like to say that next time we're going to be more prepared on the front end. But
well, to your point, I agree. I think everybody in this room doesn't like eminent domain, but I don't think there's a person in this room who would do this to the city. I just don't think there is. I think it's sorry, and I think people that say they're community minded and they're all about the community and turn around and do this to our public utility is just sorry.
So.
Yeah, thanks. Last word, good luck, don't get hurt.
In the thought of the process, if we did an eminent domain, we're still 30 days or longer before we could do any work.
Yes. That's before I can give the contractors a go ahead. the contractors, since we've already pushed them off once 3 months ago, you know, it's going to be hard to put some fire in them. I mean, they're kind of worse. They can get here whenever they want to, basically. Yeah. I think they want to do the job. It's going to pay well. So say 3 months before we're starting construction.
Well, my opinion is, my opinions, you know, we sit back and think about it for this next month till this next period, but you know, council meeting, but you know, that's my opinion.
I would recommend ordering an appraisal. If we don't do anything else, I would recommend ordering an appraisal. If you're not willing to accept this offer, that's fine. Nobody is going to get an appraisal done. So if we wait till next month, then we're talking about September.
Just keep backing it up.
At the very least, I would recommend. I would recommend retaining an appraiser. On this.
Do we have a time on when that's got to be done?
When it's got to be done, it needed to be done
2 years ago.
months ago, 2 years ago. This is I'll just be completely open. I mean, that thing has broken 3 different times. You can go down there, you can get in the boat, you can float down through there. We have got it cabled up. We are doing the best we can. I'm not trying to hide anything. We've got it cabled up and got come-alongs to trees. There's 120 feet of sewer line exposed in the river. It is not leaking. We check it every day. So it needs to be done.
That's
why
I'm not a big fan of having to do it, but
recommendation was to accept
I think we
it
should go ahead and do it to get this project done.
Okay then. Can we counter an offer and say, hey, it's going to cost us $5,000 for an appraisal?
Yeah. So this is the thing about public service and public meetings, and
because we had the same discussion.
Yeah. So you can counter, but then what are we going to do when he rejects that? We're going to call a special. I mean, that's fine. We can call a special meeting, bring everybody back in here, and say, okay, now they said this. So, and that's fine. We can have negotiations that way. You know, I can't call everyone up and say, hey, now we're at this. What y'all think? Because yes, the way you should talk about that is no one should say, well, go back at 6, but we'll really go to 8, because that's then everyone's here. So if someone wants to say we will offer X dollars, you can do that, and I will take that and say the city voted to pay you X dollars, and
my thought is it's going to cost X amount of dollars for the appraisal. If they would take that, then we're not adding more money.
Like I said, the appraiser that I've found is for the $4,800 retainer fee. So
The only problem with that is it's the same boat as if you don't do anything and you do
Pushing it down the road.
pushing everything back. Start time. If you don't take action tonight, you're just making it wait. Now we just got to decide whether we want to wait 3 or 4 months to get started on it.
If we don't do this in the next 3 or 4, and pretty quick, can they go? If we don't do it for 3 or 4 months, can they go up on our deal to move the line?
How long was that bid good for?
No, it's already been awarded. I mean, they could.
We have to accept it within 60 days.
Yeah, we haven't issued a notice to proceed. We've issued a notice of award. We have to issue a notice to proceed. Now, if you delayed that, you know, and encumbered them, they could bring a lawsuit, but I doubt they would do that. I've never seen that occur, although it could, if you just kept delaying the notice to proceed and they can never get on site and do the work. But I think that would probably, I don't see that being an issue, but it's possible.
But this is the one that went out for bid, and it was almost $1 million difference in the 2 bids. We had 2 bidders on this project.
And can they just back out at any time and then you're stuck getting somebody else?
You're under contract.
We're under contract, so.
Oh, you're fine.
They have their material, you know, submittals have been submitted, they've been approved. They probably have all the material. They were, like I said,
they were ready to start.
They were ready to be on site, and Will had to put them off like the day before. Like, well,
we were having a on-site meeting, and they were going to be there the next day, and we put them off.
I don't believe we ought to put them off no longer. I think we ought to go ahead and do it. That's my opinion.
it's not a good look for that person. I kind of agree with Jeff on it's not a good look when you have a legitimate cost and an expense, and then that person arbitrarily says, no, this is what I want. And it may be because this person just is young and just doesn't understand what it looks, or maybe they don't care what it looks like. But it doesn't look good. I mean, definitely they're not the victim. If we buy it, in my opinion, we're the victim, because we get pressured on us because we want something that definitely needs to be done, should have been done a long time ago. And it's like, well, I'm just going to hold this. I'm just going to put a little leverage on the city. When I know it's not worth that much, but I know they want to get this done, and they wanted to get it done yesterday. But I don't know. I mean, people. I kind of agree with Chad on that. I mean, we're living a crazy. I mean, people just don't. I mean, they say one thing but they do something else, and you know, it just, to me, just doesn't look good for that person when they know darn good and well it's not worth that much.
Yeah, it's not like we're a gas company. We're a city utility. We don't make money. We break even. You know, this is a community water system, and this is going to get passed on to the people who pay water bills.
Of course, nobody likes paying somebody something that's not.
Well, we need a decision on if we want to accept that offer or not. You don't have to have a vote, just what direction.
And Richard, I'll say this too. Nobody should be talking to anybody about who's going to be getting compensated for what, when, and how, if they're not the person that's supposed to be doing that. Because that's where we get entangled in these interrelationship kind of things within a community. And the thing about it is, when you have procedures and operating things that you're supposed to follow, that's what you need to do. That's what you need to follow. And then let the chips fall where they may. But then you wind up with people, well, they told me this, or they told me that. And then we come back and look at what policy we're supposed to fall under, and, oh, we're not supposed to do that at all. Well, that person wasn't even supposed to be even talking to them about that. So it just puts everybody, it makes people feel extremely uncomfortable when you do that. It's just like walking in a room and getting a bucket of cold water thrown on you.
This is compensation usually falls in the 25% to 50% range of the affected land's value. And that's not an acre or anything, that's just that land value, 25%.
Well, I figure you got two choices. So you accept this one, or you have to do eminent domain. Because if you refuse this one and then you start to go, it's probably not going to go down. It's only going to go up.
Because of your timeline, I don't recommend negotiating. We're just going to end up. I think tomorrow you need to contact his lawyer and let you know you accepted this offer, or I need to be filing an appraisal.
Right.
That's what I think.
One of two things.
Yeah.
No, I'm not for it. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right as a person, as a individual. I guess we'll say that. But if y'all, I'm pulling it from y'all and the water board's water board's thoughts or.
I get paid to manage the water department. And right now, the cheapest route out of this to get for the water department is this. The water board made a recommendation to bring this to you as a recommendation to accept.
The cheapest, which means the
But I
cheapest on
also,
the customers too.
since this is a new precedence, I didn't want to make that decision without bringing it to the board, to the council.
And I've heard all the comments from the board and the council, which has been kind of the same page, and I'll tell you,
None of us like it.
I think we're gonna work the next project we have coming up. We're gonna not put ourselves in this spot. That's you know, I'll take some responsibility for that. It's just don't need to let it go this long. So
Well, it was that, oh, it's, you know, a friend of a friend that they, you know, been here all their life and blah, blah, blah. So it'll be okay. They'll take what, you know, normal. And here it is. The normal's not there anymore.
Do we need a motion or something?
Yeah, we could do a motion to, either to eminent domain or accept the offer. I'll entertain a motion in a second to accept the offer. Has everybody said their say?
I make a motion, we accept the offer to get started on the work.
I'll second it.
Second. Second to accept.
Sam seconded it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Chad, because we're dealing with a trust and stuff, what's the privacy issues on any agreement between the city and
Well,
or utility and as far as being public information?
yeah, so everything we do obviously is public domain, but the trust is like, I mean, I haven't done a lot of legal title research on the trust, but it's a marital trust. I assume it's some sort of a revocable trust document that's got a certificate filed that's going to identify who the trustees are. And I mean, we don't see the terms of the trust, but I'm assuming that the trustees are going to be known. And I assume it's Trevor and Cassie Dawson, just because those are the people that have been represented by the attorney. But
Well, that's what the letter says too.
I do have a copy of that if everybody wants to see it. I just didn't get up and pass it around. I apologize.
of the deed,
No, I
of the
have
email.
just the email, and it's an email. I have a copy of it.
And I'm taking this request to be the damage request of $10,012. The other language about scope and easement or something that we're gonna address, because that's, you know, there are questions about causing, you know, damage and protection of the property, and that's something that we're gonna take care of through the contractor. And
But it's got to have a timeline of, you know, 60 days or 30 days or something. It can't go for 10 years.
And we'll have to be open with the contractor. We had issues getting this. You know, if there's any damages, be prepared. We talked about it in our meeting, the contractors may actually have a walkthrough, a pre-inspection done of the property. I don't know. We'll leave that hopefully up to the contractor, but.
I'll offer my 2 cents. I don't like it, but you got a water board, you got a water commission. We formed one several years ago. They've been solid. It's helped the council. It's helped me. It's helped the city, I think. Their recommendation is to take it. I talked to Chad. I trust his opinion. Other attorney, and sometimes attorneys, they talk, and I don't know what.
I apologize. I wasn't.
No, I'm just saying, sometimes I don't know what the answer was. Everybody here is elected, and you're autonomous, and you're real autonomous. I appreciate that. I've been praised by you and then chewed out by you, and that's fine. That's what people vote, why you vote you in. At the end of the day, I wish we wasn't here. At the end of the day, to get the project done, you're at the point to, you're either going to do it or you're not. You start it. We're going to get the project done. If it saves the money you think, then I'd say go ahead and do it the least possible expense. I've seen we get water and sewer in our homes. Most of the planet don't have that. We've seen people carry it 2 miles uphill, and raw sewage in the ditches. We have it really good. It's just nice, like I say, when everybody works together, it works great. And sometimes it doesn't. So at the end of the day, if it's you got your water manager saying, I'm here to get things done most cost effective,
I'll just, for what it's worth, because, you know, we're a recorded meeting, people may watch this. I mean, it's my recommendation on the settlement offer because I believe the cost of litigation will could exceed this number. And I do not believe that this property is worth $10,012. I'm going to be very clear about that. And I'm confident that a juror in Van Buren County is not going to believe that this property is worth $10,012. The recommendation is to settle this matter and close it, the cost of litigation and the time and some of the other issues that come with filing eminent domain actions lead me to the recommendation to get this thing done. But I don't want anyone to believe that Chad Brown thinks that this property is worth $10,012.
No, I didn't intend to say that, I'm sure.
No, and I don't think you did. I just wanted to say it about 3 more times. So.
Anything else? I'll ask for a vote.
Williams,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Pistol,
Hell no.
Hastings,
Yes.
Barnes,
I'm gonna say this, that I'm gonna vote for it because the needs of our community outweigh the greed of one. So I vote yes.
okay.
Sorry I had to take up so much of your time. And saying that, I need some more of your time. We're down a board member, have been a while. We have a position open. It was Matt Stewart's position. We've actually talked to several different people about the position, and they weighed it both ways and have actually not accepted it. So the mayor has talked to a guy that would accept it. And the way these positions, the way the original was drawn up, there was nothing as far as zones like you as a board has. But the way it's ended up is we're covering the whole water system, and I like it. So in saying that, Matt Stewart I called him my B branch guy, or Burnt Ridge, sorry. But also in that, Matt was put in there because of his financial background and him looking over our finances, and it was just a good fit. Matt got out last December, and we've not filled that position. TJ Pate is willing to step up and be on the water board. And the reason I brought up the whole zoning thing and everything, he does not fit into that, but he could eventually be B Branch because he lives in B Branch, or he is a renter. He owns rent homes here in town. I think he's up to 6 or 7 of them now. So he is a business guy in town, so he could be in that aspect, or we may actually have someone else stepping out. We're not really sure. He could fill that position. But if I do have one more board member missing, I need to fill this position. So in him filling the position that's open, he would start a new 8-year term. But we could, if we wanted to go back, which I do want to keep that known. I want representation on the entire system. We could move him into either the B branch or a different later, but I would like to fill that position. I know the ordinance is written up that it's an appointed person from the mayor, but I wanted to bring that recommendation to the board tonight.
Okay, it's entertain a motion second to approve the appointment of.
You say he lived at B Branch?
He does live at B Branch.
That'd be the only
Well,
one
in
you got on
between
the
from us
board.
would be.
No, I have Kristen Fleming that currently lives in B Branch, but she goes out in December.
I make a motion we approve the recommendation of the water board, TJ Pate.
I second.
Any discussion? I'll ask for a vote.
Barnes,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
And I'll try not to take any more time until we get to the resolution.
Okay, we'll get through zoning pretty quick. Zoning department, I'll give the zoning report. Still haven't selected a zoning official. Still working on that. Had 2 new business licenses last month, 3 inspections, 3 new constructions, several zoning law inquiries. What is it, a C1 or R1, whatever, what can and cannot do there. 5 remodels going on, still ongoing, 3 old construction ongoing modifications. They've changed the scope, maybe a 32 down to a 30-foot slab, etc. I don't know about the tower at school. I think they're putting something up, a communication tower. I usually refer to DL about that. Sirens seem to be working a lot better. Had 5 folks look at the police station for the remodel. I'll be getting with them first of next week and see where they're at on that. I also went out and told Jay I'm going to be cleaning that out pretty extensively in the L&E building, so we can get the L&E building down and get laid out on the police station. Big issue this last month were clean up properties. I don't have a computer. I made this, so that's a new one. I can tell, and if there's some of you want to add to it, see to me. I think I got most of them covered. There's 62 in all, but 15 that need major address starting tomorrow. And we've had 3 burnout homes, and I'm going to try to start getting those taken down on that in 3 different locations. And that's all I have for zoning. Any questions?
What are they building over there at the Blue Dolphin?
That's put equipment under. It's in the flood zone. He talked to him about that. You can have like a pole barn, it's like a cell barn,
Yeah.
and have it elevated where water can go through it and it won't cave it in, just so he can hide his equipment and make it look better.
Okay.
And they're moving along on that pretty good. Yeah, the head walls look good, and he's done a lot. He's bought that. The drainage is really good. I'll have to give him a shout out for that. And Betty Ingram's happy, and everybody's down there happy. The water's going to the creek, so grateful for that. Anything else? Brings us down to unfinished business. We do not have any new biz. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I think we do under A&P, discussion on A&P tax and admin. 10% going to, I didn't know if y'all wanted to kind of forward. I was going to try to have a resolution on that, but maybe fill us in on where we landed on that.
Yeah, so talked this week, I think the A&P Commission requested, I guess maybe can we kind of divert the collection, the 10% tax on on-premises consumption, the alcohol tax. We could divert that over to the advertising promotion, or at least those purposes. So the A&P tax is a specific tax. I don't think it'd be a good idea. It may not even really be good for auditing purposes to put general money into that fund. I think we need to keep it separate. But we talked about the possibility of moving. Dina and I talked about the possibility of moving money into an advertising line item that's kind of within the general budget, but an advertising line item. And we could tie that to collections from the alcohol tax. I think we forecast 15,000, and it looks like collections are above that right now. We're at 22,000-ish.
Mm-hmm. Right, 22,664.75.
So
For half the year.
about halfway through the year, and we're significantly over that forecast amount already. So it's probably safe to say we're gonna go over. So we kind of talked like, well, what if we went ahead and appropriated the 7,000 over or whatever it is into advertising now, or we can come back next month and try to do something. But
yeah, that was brought up. I wanted to address that. We had 15, and for the audit of the line item, we've exceeded that. So I think we're 7 in the black for that.
So you're saying it's not legal for us to appropriate that tax money to the A&P?
Well, I think commingling it with the A&P tax collection.
Yeah, you can. I looked on the state law.
Yeah, I didn't look at that. I can almost just tell you, kind of shooting from the hip, can't
Right.
do that. But
Yeah.
so I think commingling with the A&P tax would be not something we can do, but we can certainly use that money for the same purposes that the A&P does.
We can appropriate, we know how much is going into that tax, we can appropriate certain amounts over to the A&P.
I kind of got the spirit of that request was maybe they wanted to see the money that was being collected for alcohol sales going back into A&P type purposes, which.
Well, I mean, the way I was thinking, like, if I remember, was to build, a pavilion or, things like that, right? Is that kind of how we went over?
Well, I was just thinking, it would be a good, when talk to Jeff, it would be a good that comes from businesses.
Yeah.
So it'd be a good thing for that to go into the advertised promotion of the city, which would help their businesses. So it'd just be a good way to use that money that we're getting from that.
The way I kind of understood, or way I was wanting, we'll say that, thinking more of, like I say, building a pavilion to use for things. You know.
Well, if we appropriate it, it'd be under A&P control, or?
Well, I think, I mean, we could, I don't know if we can put a separate line item into the A&P. I mean, the A&P Commission is set up to administer the A&P tax. So I really don't think we can give it to the A&P Commission to spend it. They can certainly make recommendations on
So
what
it's still
the
a-
council would do with the money.
Yeah. We could do a line item for,
But, yeah.
We can do a line item for advertising and promotion,
Yeah.
but it would
I think-
be city
I think at that
council.
but it's under the general fund. It cannot go to A&P.
The A&P would act more like an advisory board than an administrative board would relate in that fund. So
Okay.
they could get together and say, look, we'd like the city to spend X number of dollars on a pavilion, using the sale, using the alcohol tax.
But the council would have to vote on those expenditures? Or?
Yeah.
We just have to budget.
Yeah, it's a budget question is what it is.
But just knowing that it's there, you can always say, just like when we did Archfest, fireworks get more and more expensive every year. We know it's there. We can appropriate more if we need to. When we do the Christmas in the city, whatever, if we need to do things, if they need more, we can always use that to appropriate more.
It'd be a lot better than a hamburger tax.
Well, I think possibly it's passing a hamburger tax. Yeah, so I think, I mean, it's a good way to look. It's a good way to show people this is what we're doing with the money that we're collecting.
I think it's a good
that's what I
idea.
want.
But I want it, like I say, to build some kind of structures, to put flowers in the city hall. I mean, not city hall, but around the courthouse.
You're going to water them every day?
I'm just using examples. I'm just saying to
Just
show
asking.
for,
But that'd have to be voted on
To
a
show
case-by-case basis. We can't,
Yes.
yeah, so.
yeah. So I'm not trying to appropriate it, but, we would do an appropriation of, hey, we're gonna use the next 5 years for this. Can you do that?
Yeah, I mean, your budget's year to year based on the collections, and you can, at some point, you're gonna get a pretty good idea of what.
Well, I heard you say that the A&P recommended the council and the council vote on whatever it was they recommended.
I think there's nothing wrong with the A&P Commission coming up with recommendations outside of their budget that they have. And hey, we've got 30, I don't know how much they have.
It'll
We've got X
subsidize,
number of
like Dewey
dollars.
said,
Yeah.
extra expenses or something you want to.
I'm just saying what I've always wanted was to show that money is going towards a product.
It's actually, the good thing about the alcohol tax is it's very easy to show the people how much you're collecting and how you're spending it, because it's a separate tax. It's just there, and they have reporting and all that stuff. So it's really easy to just point and say, okay, public, this is what we collect on alcohol, and then you can go spend it. Yeah, you can do that.
We need benches in the park.
Somewhere to sit after they do all the drinking again. Yeah.
So is that something we need to vote on, or?
I think it's just a budget question. Do we want to move over money now, or do we?
If you want to move, there's only like 7,000 that you could move because we budgeted in the general fund for 15. But there's 7 over, or if you can wait till like later on at the end of the year, you say, hey, I want this. Like Scare on the Square, y'all always do candy. We can say, hey, we'll take that candy out of the advertising and promotion line item out of general fund instead of taking it out of A&P.
And we can always, when the end of the year gets here and we have to do budget, we can always say, all right, we want to budget this much more than we did last year for certain things.
Projections and stuff.
And then next year,
So no vote or just
Only
Get
if
it
they
ready
want to
for-
move money right now.
if you only want to move money now, you gotta appropriate it for a new line item. Or when you want to later on in the year, we can do it then. It doesn't matter.
Is there a
But there's
need
only
for it
7,000 right
I
now.
don't think we have a need for it right now, but
well, do you need to appropriate the line item without putting anything in?
No, I can do the line item anytime.
Okay.
When we go in budget.
I don't think we need it right now. Maybe.
yeah, we can probably wait till we can probably wait till budget time.
Good idea. I'll have to give you credit for that.
Yeah, budget time and for next year.
Okay. Anything else?
It just can't be transferred to A&P. Like if we say, hey, I can't give you all the money and put it over in A&P. It has to stay out of general fund.
The at the bottom, it's out of alphabetical order, but I like that. It segues A&P and admin. We've been discussing that last 3 meetings, and that's a good thing. What was that amount? 22 what?
66475.
I had 76, but okay. Where's that? Dana keeps up with the money.
So when you do your projections for next year, do you just base it on what we collected the year before, or kind of? Okay. All right. Because it looks like we're on track to get about 40,000.
For the alcohol.
22 right now, halfway through the year. Then
Over the year. Yeah, because we haven't collected any.
We're just
We
over halfway.
collected a little bit, but this is just
Anything
January
else
through
on
June.
admin?
Somebody should do it.
I just threw that in. Anything else? Brings us to unfinished business. There is none. New business, the 2024 legislative audit report. Speaking of 22664.75.
You want me to do this?
Yes, you take
Okay.
that.
This is for the 2024 legislative audit report. We had no findings for the 2024 audit. State law requires this report to review by our governing body, which is the City Council, and take appropriate action relating to each finding and recommendation. Since there were none, we don't have to take any action on that, but we do have to read it into the minutes. So I need a motion to accept the 2024 audit report of the City of Clinton.
I make a motion.
Second.
Second, any discussion? I'll ask for a vote.
Barnes,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
That's official now. I probably shouldn't have said no findings last time, but I got it. I do appreciate that. I'll tell you, we can do a lot of things if you've got a sharp pencil. And like I say, everybody at this table, you can talk to. You can agree and disagree and still be agreeable. I do appreciate that. Great job with the audit and the finances, Dina. Excellent. Other new business is a resolution authorizing the B Branch water. I'm going to read that, and
You guys want a copy to look at while he's reading it? You got one? Okay.
You want me to read it?
yeah, you can look at it and read it.
I've got it here.
Okay, yeah.
Unless it's different on what I got.
No, it's the same.
Okay. Resolution accepting conveyance and transfer of assets from B Branch Public Water Authority of the State of Arkansas. Whereas City of Clinton, a municipal corporation of the State of Arkansas, Clinton, has agreed that it will accept the conveyance and transfer of all assets from B Branch Public Water Authority of the State of Arkansas, hereinafter B Branch, and collectively the parties. And whereas the full conveyance and transfer to Clinton will provide a more efficient means to manage and provide the utility services expected by the B Branch customers, and whereas B Branch Public Water Authority of the State of Arkansas has or will fully execute warranty deeds, quitclaim deeds, bills of sales, assignments, assumptions, and whatever other documentation is necessary of the proper conveyance and transfer of its assets. And whereas Clinton has determined that it is in the best interest of Clinton to accept this conveyance and transfer, and as such does hereby authorize its mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to effect the acquisition of the properties, accounts, etc. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Clinton, State of Arkansas, that Section 1, the Clinton City Council hereby authorizes and approves the conveyance, transfer, and acquisition of the assets of B Branch Public Water Authority of the State of Arkansas, as discussed, reflected, agreed to, and affirmed herein. Section 2, the acquisition in substantially the form presented at the meeting at which the resolution is addressed is hereby approved, and the mayor of the City of Clinton, Arkansas, is authorized to represent, execute, and sign on behalf of the City of Clinton, Arkansas, any and all documents necessary to effect the acquisition herein. Section 3, it has been found that the acquisition is plainly in the interest of the City of Clinton, Arkansas, and that its execution is essential. Therefore, this resolution, being necessary for the preservation of the public health and safety, shall be in effect upon its adoptions. I make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Second, any other discussion? You don't say anything.
It's just if there is any questions, we've asked.
Just real quick, I told Chad, whatever he needs if he wants to go through it. You all did the agreement in November,
and this is proceeding to a closing. That's going to be on Will to get the signatures from B Branch, which
Yeah, I've got their stuff. We'll get that.
So once that's done, there's a warranty deed, quick claim deed, an assignment, and a bill of sale. There are two things that you all will sign, that the mayor will sign, and it'll be on the back end after B Branch executes it, will be the warranty deed and the assignment. The reason I put your signature on there with all the financing that's coming through, that's going to be collateral, and then the assignment does include the debt that B Branch has. So that's the only reason. If you don't want to sign it, that's fine too. These transfer documents we'll get them recorded. Chad, if you want to do it, send it back to me. I mean, Will, just let me know. And then that should be the completion of the transaction. Y'all are running it anyway, so you might as well get in your name. Kyle, there was a moving target on when to close, whether before or after all the financing and the bond work. So they've changed their mind a few times.
Yeah,
so Kyle and I are going back and forth.
ANRC set the date of August 31st in their offer letter. That's why we were shooting for August 31st. It was their deadline. Ryan is the bond attorney, and he's with the Friday firm, and he has said that he'll probably need an extension because they have yet to send him. So ANRC has to supply him the amortization schedule and a lot of stuff for the bond documents. He doesn't have that yet, and then they have to review that before he can bring it to your attention. So I doubt it will be in the August meeting. Originally it was going to be next month. He was going to be here to bring all that and those ordinances. It probably will not be in August, but I've yet to get an answer. It'll probably be September, October.
Thank you.
Along with his resolution, when he got this isn't all he drawed up. He has paper stacks of.
You're about to get a lot of papers.
Yeah, easements. I mean, there's all quick claim deed. There's all kinds of stuff. So if you guys want to look at it, I did not print copies for everybody because I did print copies of this, but Dina had already taken care of it. So we both paid for paper today. But anyway.
I didn't. I sent mine on email.
Yeah.
I'm just get you all my contact information, and then anything that needs to be executed, I'll get you send it to me. I'll make sure it gets executed from all the people that need to be done locally. And our office is right across the courthouse, so recording is not a problem for us. If you need me to look that without, yeah.
And y'all's part's easy. And B Branch, which Will's going to make it easy, I think, before it's all said and done. But yeah, I'll get it for you. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? I'll ask for a vote. I think.
Barnes,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
2025-10.
Okay, thanks. It brings down to public comments. Anybody, Grant, would you want to? You've been here the longest.
Hey, a little bit. Everybody, some of y'all might know me. I'm Grant Summers, president of the Marion County Fire Chiefs Association. I just wanted to come down. I've been talking to the mayor. We're putting a fundraiser on for David Hess. August 2nd, we're doing a spaghetti dinner and a pie auction, any kind of silent auction items, whatever we can come up with. We have quite a bit of assistance from the public so far. I know Western Sizzling is donating the salad stuff, some desserts, rolls and stuff to help us. I'm looking for other donations, monetary, to help buy the spaghetti stuff. We're still trying to get it donated, but it's not looking good right now. But we've got some funds that we're going to use to make this happen one way or the other. But if we can get any kind of help, anybody wants to donate anything, tool sets, I don't care, anything we can use for help get them start building this house back up. Because they tried to clean it, make it decent, and it's not happening. So they don't want any part of it. I know I've been in contact with Anna this morning. They're trying to make things happen. So we're all collecting. She was trying to do a fundraiser before ours, and it's not happening till later September. So we're just going to get together and make all this go through. But it's $10 a plate, all the fixings, drinks, and the whole 9 yards. And then kids 12 and under is $5.
What's the date again?
It'll be August 2nd. From 5 p.m. to whenever we run out of food. We got it down for 5 to 10, but when we run out of food or people quit coming, it's going to be at the Clinton First Baptist Church at the gym. Huh?
Baptist Church.
Yes, at the bottom. Down there at the gym in the back. Kind of where we do the shop with the cop and everything else. So we're kind of hoping to that. anybody need to get a hold of me, DL knows how, Jason, Mayor. We're kind of doing what we can do, try to put this together as quick as we can. Took a little bit to find a place to do it. The church is very acceptable of letting us do it there. They've got plenty of room, so we're hoping for a good turnout.
Got plenty of time to August 2nd, so everybody knows the family and everybody knows David if you've lived here at all.
Quite a bit of what we could when it all happened. So, like I said, if anybody wants to donate desserts, monetary, I've got to make a trip to Sam's and it's going to be expensive, but it is what it is.
Flyers will be around and we'll take a picture of that. And
we've kind of getting some different things. Also, to kind of let y'all know, this is our 4th annual Fire Expo. It's kind of where all the fire departments get together at Clinton City Park. September 13th, we'll be there from 10 to 5. All the fire departments kind of have a truck show, have live band. And if anybody ever heard of Landlaw Music, they're out of Batesville. They play all over the country, Texas, Nashville, the whole 9 yards. They're coming in again this year. They were there last year. We'll have vendors right now. I think we've got 21 vendors set up to be coming in. Different arts and crafts, desserts, everything. Of course, all our stuff. We've got raffles of different items. Of course, we'll have a silent auction too of stuff we come up with that's being donated from some of the vendors. Then we're doing a home run derby that evening with all the fire departments. The chiefs will pick their own player and then they'll get chances to hit and they get bragging rights for a year. So quite fun, gets us hilarious. That's kind of what we do it for.
is Steve Myers going to have any of his bowls for auction?
Do it.
Chimes. Steve Myers, does he have any woodcraft?
I haven't talked to him yet. I have got some woodcraft coming. I've got to get a hold of him.
I'm still using this stuff, but yeah, I was going to mention both of those, and I will under Micah. I appreciate you working with that, and also tell us about David. Anybody
We're hoping we have a good turnout for both of them, especially David's. We're kind of growing as we go. We got
You bet.
a lot going on. So
What's the best way to get a hold of you?
my cell phone, it's you got it, 501-654-4683. Matter of fact, it's on this red flyer here. I'll leave both of them if y'all need them.
We'll get them.
You'll kind of have them. That's just the best way. That Facebook Messenger, Damascus, town of Damascus. You can call me at work.
We'll find you for sure. Anything else for Grant? Thank you. Anybody else? Public comments?
Question for you. Where we at with Dennard Water?
That was gonna come up, and I'm glad it did. So this acquisition of B Branch, you guys have known, we've only been working on this for like a year, and it's gone a lot quicker. Chad worked on the other one back and forth, but we were dealing with 2 different lawyers. I don't know exactly how this is going to go. I'm going to have to reach out with Donnie and see how it's going to go, but if we can do what we've done with B Branch by buying them out, basically we're absolving them of their debt. We have already paid off 2 of Dennard's loans. It may come to the point where we have to pay off the other 3. Either that or we may, I don't know. The only reason the way we're having to do this one is ANRC is basically refinancing B Branch's loans. I'm having to buy them out. We're going to be spending some money, but I'm going to be able to get that money back by going to the ANRC and basically just re-upping their loans. They're going to refinance the loans for us. So we may have to look into something like that with Dennard. I don't think we can refinance them because we're not asking for money from ANRC, but we are trying to pay them off. Once we pay them off, USDA is the holdup. Everything, all of Chad's paperwork and everything has went to USDA, and we can't get an answer. But the last answer we got is, I need to look into it. I think all that information's outdated. We need new information. Well, there is no new information. Their board's not meeting. I mean, we've been operating them. I've been in this job for 6 years, and you guys voted to take over Dennard with the previous manager. So we're operating Dennard just like it was ours. The health department does not see it that way, and USDA does not see it that way. We had to do a separate CCR this year. Last year, they allowed us to, when we sent out our public information to everybody where they can see that we're doing right, testing and all that, we were able to put Dennard's in with us. Well, the health department's got a new director, and he said, no, you'll do another CCR for Dennard. Well, that's more advertisement. We had to advertise that in the paper, and it costs more, so
So where are we at on the money? Because Dennard had an account. Did we ever get that?
They do have accounts. I do not know what's in it. I will not be told. The bank will not let me know. Donnie will not let me know. We have no access to those accounts. With B Branch, the board signed over that Donna and I had control of the accounts. We got put on it. That wasn't done. I wasn't there during that negotiation. But
So we don't have any access to the accounts,
We're
but we
running Dennard with Clinton money.
So we don't have access to the account.
We don't even know how much is in there. USDA expressed to us that there was should be a substantial amount because they had to have so much in depreciation to get their loans. I don't know.
Do they still have a board member up there?
We have a board member on our board, but it was never on Dennard's board. We have someone that lives on the Dennard system that's on our board, but he's never been on the Dennard board. But that acquisition was totally different. It was handled different. I wasn't involved in it. Since I've been here, Chad's got all the paperwork that ANRC requested, and it's been in their hands for 2 years. Completed. Maybe more. I may be wrong. It may have been 3 years ago. But
COVID time. It's been a
yeah.
while.
So every time we reach out to the lady from USDA, she says that they're short-handed. She's having to run half the state. But the last time we reached out to her, when she expressed that we may have to look back and start over, if we can, I'll get with Donnie, and he may have another job. But all the head work's been done. I don't want to do it again. But Chad don't want to do it again either. That's why we went B Branch. Chad goes, I did it once. I'm not doing it again.
Chad did it for free.
Yeah, Chad did it for free. Anyway, that's where we're at. And we did, when we were talking about it in our meeting, they said, you know it's going to get brought up at City Council. I figured Sam would have beat you to it. But no, we may have to come to the point where we just have to pay off their debt, guys. I mean, and then USDA, once they not loaning them money anymore, we just do the paperwork, finish the paperwork, and we own them. I mean,
Well, is there any risk that we pay off their debt and we don't ever get the money that was in the account?
I don't see why we don't have it in the first place.
I don't either.
But USDA cannot tell me how much should be in there. The bank will not talk to us. I'm having to cut a check each month and send it to Dennard's secretary, which Dennard don't have a board. So I'm sending it to a private secretary, and then she's sending. We're putting it into to them. They're putting it in an account, and they're writing it to USDA. I'm not even paying USDA direct. But we did pay off 2 out of the 5 of their loans because we weren't paying anything towards the principal. They were high interest, and we weren't every month. Nothing was getting paid towards the principal. So we voted to go ahead and pay those 2 off, and we're paying out the lower interest ones.
Now, pursuant to the agreement when we kicked this thing off, that there was supposed to be a transferring all that money over to the city. And that just never
Once
happened.
acquisition was taken over, and
Yeah,
it
just
wasn't.
And then where it all sort of hit a stop was where it was almost like didn't figure out there was this bank account that had money in it. Then all of a sudden, getting signatures was a little tougher.
Yeah.
But
as far as all that goes,
it wasn't really. I mean, I thought the understanding was it was a smallish, and the big picture thing, smallish bank account balance. But
we always
USDA
thought that.
thinks
That's why
it's
we
more,
didn't push
yeah.
the issue. But then with these conversations with USDA, she acted like there was a substantial amount of money in that account, or should be, because they had to be putting so much towards depreciation for their loans.
The USDA requires a short-lived asset reserve, so that has fully funds the full value of the assets that are less than 15 year depreciable. So any pumps, anything short-lived, they'd have to fully have that vested. They would also have to have the debt service reserve. So I would imagine it would be substantial amount of money.
And don't get me wrong, I mean, it's put back for depreciation and everything like that, but the way the depreciation works is, yes, right now USDA would have to give me permission to use those funds. If I had those funds, I could request, say they painted a tank and they got money from USDA, they would make them put so much in depreciation for the amounts they were given. Okay, I can use that money to repaint that tank the next time with permission from USDA if I needed it. I had to get permission. But we still could use that money as depreciation, but if USDA is not involved, if we're already paid their debt off, I can still repaint that tank, and I would keep it as depreciation money. We would just have it to operate off of. But we don't know how much is in those accounts at all.
What's the advantage of any individual in Dennard that evidently has some type of authority to distribute funds to somebody?
I don't see, I don't know if they're still paying that secretary out of funds there. I don't have any access to those accounts whatsoever.
Why haven't we said, okay, in every aspect except putting a signature on a piece of paper, an acquisition or whatever legal document that says we've acquired Dennard. Why hasn't that happened?
There's no acquiring Dennard until ARC says it's
the
okay.
reason why it hasn't happened is because somebody or some bodies arbitrarily have decided that they don't want to do that for whatever reason, then why don't we have some type of a legal recourse, or we have a big old wrench that turns the water off?
He just said, while you were talking in the middle, that we can't acquire it until AR&C says.
Or USDA. It's
Or
USDA in this aspect.
As long as those loans are outstanding, we can't acquire.
Why haven't we sent some type of a legal document to them?
They have all the legal documents. Chad has written up all the legal documents and given everything, and it is in USDA's hands.
Is there any federal, then haven't we contacted any federal congressman or senator or something like that to get somebody off their rear end? Because, the bad thing with water departments is fraud.
Yeah.
Well, we are not spending Dennard's money that's in those accounts.
The longer that it goes that somebody has a pool of money someplace, but we don't know where it's going, but somehow we're legally responsible because we're sending them money every month. I mean, where's the accountability?
The one thing we did have to do once I got in there is we started looking at deposits. So we did get notified how much was in the deposit amount. Well, they didn't. You have to have a deposit per customer. We didn't have it. We actually had to take some of our money and put enough money into a deposit account for Dennard to cover those deposits because it wasn't covered. So, I mean, I do know we've done that, but basically we're taking Dennard's money and we're cutting a check to Dennard once a month for them to pay USDA notes, but we are not operating their checking accounts.
Is the money that we take in from Dennard in excess of what we pay?
It is now. When I first started there, you guys had made an agreement to charge Dennard customers whatever we charged our customers. And Dennard went from $12 a thousand to $3 and something a thousand. So no, at that point, we were taking out Clinton money, adding to what we took from Dennard to pay their notes. They weren't even paying the note when we started charging them $3 per thousand. and they were paying $12 per thousand. Now they're still not paying $12 per thousand 6 years later after we increased them, but they were before we took them over. They were paying $12 per thousand on the gallons, and we took them down to $3.25.
We were informed that that was all we could do.
You were informed wrong, because legally you cannot lower rates without getting permission from your lenders. So in this case, you would have had to have went to USDA and proposed to them that you were going to drop Dennard's rates, and then they would have given you permission to drop Dennard's rates, and we didn't do that.
Because I even asked about a cost of delivery, and it was, no, it has to be the same straight across the board.
It does not. It is now. So with B Branch, we're taking over B Branch right now. We're actually taking it over. Like right now, if we did it the same way you did before, I would have to go to USDA and I say I wanted to lower their rates, which their rates aren't covering it now. I would have to get permission from USDA to lower the rate before we could do it. But they would never do that. USDA would never say, no, you don't lower the rate. If you're making it, keep it the same. But they don't say that. So right now we're going to be taking them in, probably doing a rate increase. If I ever decide, hey, we're doing pretty good, I can go to US or ANRC. This is Clinton and everything. So say I think, oh, we're finally getting things straight. We're not spending as much money anymore. I'm going to give my customers a break. I owe money to ANRC, and right now USDA with Dennard and everything. I have to go to those lending agencies, and I have to propose this to them, and they have to give me permission to raise those rates. Right now I have to send rate increases to ANRC for them to see if it's even close enough before I can even, because every time we send them rates, like when we did our last increase for Clinton, they were like, no, that won't cover it. You got to go higher. So we didn't do it because we wanted to. We did it because our lending agency said we had to. So there's nothing saying that we're not lowering B Branch's rates. We're trying to prevent from raising them any higher. I mean, there is going to be a rate increase. I'm not trying to hide that, but we're working on getting it to get by right now. We're going to see if we can get their water loss down. We can always raise it more later, but we don't want to just jump up there as much as we can. So that's where we're at on the Dennard. I know that's a lot.
You mentioned we've paid off two loans. How much have we paid?
So when we guys first took them over, I know you guys have been told right shy of $1 million. Well, it was right shy of $1 million. It was like 900, and it was $980 something thousand when you guys took them over. So I may be talking out of terms because I don't have this in front of me. I've had it in front of me before at some of these meetings. We just never have brought it up. I'm going to say we've not got it down to half, but we've took two of the bigger chunks out with the high interest rates.
I don't know. Are we under any obligation to keep running the water system if they're not going to give us the money? Can we just say, here, take your water system back, y'all figure it out?
I think it's a little late for that. I mean, I don't know what we would do. I consider Dennard customers my customers. I mean, they're getting a Clinton water bill. They're not even getting a Dennard water bill. We're treating it just like there's two people that don't think that we own Dennard, and it's, three. There's what's left of the Dennard board. There's USDA, and there's the health department. Besides that, those customers out there at Dennard are a Clinton customer.
I understand that, but I said, do we have to keep going on like this if they're not going to turn the money loose? At some point, when it says shit or get off the pot, come on, you want the water department to be run by Clinton, or do y'all want to run it yourself?
Health department would never let me go shut off that master meter. They would never let me kill that pump station that fills Dennard. That's just without payment. If B Branch quit paying me today, health department would never let me kill that switch where we were pumping it to B Branch. So that's never going to happen. Like Dennard, they would never allow that. And if there's no one there to run it, we're not going to get paid anything. We would just be pumping the water out there. And also we put all new meters. We've done a meter project. We put new meters out there at Dennard. I mean, no, we're well beyond turning it back to them.
The city's remedy is y'all run your water department again.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not. That's what we're doing. We're running their water department for them.
And we've done it in the past. Now, I do know that by hearing past history, we have ran Dennard's water department before. And if you know of any other things we can do to speed this up,
I mean, you can do a letter to USDA saying that we've been managing this without funds, without payment, and Dennard's either gonna have to pay us a management fee, or we're gonna give operation back to them, and USDA will figure out really quickly, they gotta figure out a way to transfer those. I mean, just.
Well, that's what we need to do.
Your question is, they have all the properties and the accounts are pledged as collateral for USDA loans, so they're not going to, I mean, I would say, I mean, you shouldn't even be paying their stuff off because it benefits you none, other than, I mean, it's a big picture, it does. But, yeah, I mean, you're at the mercy of USDA. Kyle was saying, I mean, at some
Did
point,
the health department, didn't they require, wasn't this driven by the health department? Did the health department not tell you guys?
I really don't know.
I don't know how it.
No, they came to us with hat in hand. We can't do this anymore. We need help. You know, can you help us, bail us out? And we, as a good neighbor, did that. And then here's where we're at. You know.
So with that, if you guys are good with it, we could draw that document up, draw something to send it to USDA. I'd be glad to get this over with. Maybe put a little fire, along with maybe a letter from a representative posted with it. You know.
I mean, it's not the people that Dennard on the
It's
water
not.
system. It's the people who have control of the money.
I'm a water operator, so I sell people. We get people water.
Why would one individual be allowed to have the authority, after coming to another utility, to take us over? Because I'm the only board member on it. We don't have any more board. They're all old and dead or whatever. Don't have any. Want you to come and run it, but you're not going to have any accountability whatsoever. I don't have to be accountable for a penny of what any of that water association or whatever utility is out there. It absolutely makes no logical sense whatsoever. Unless it's a negative, and that's a perception that people will have. Why wouldn't you want to have any accountability? Well, people who don't want to have accountability probably means something's going on that shouldn't be going on.
Just
from listening, I don't know the setup, but it's not that they have the authority not to do it. There's nobody with the authority to do it. It's the difference. If there's no board, there's nobody that can actually do the transfer.
Well, evidently somebody.
They still have board president.
They're not turned over to the
Ran the
organization.
board before, and
There's still somebody that has all the information.
Yeah,
We-
they're
it's-
not.
There is.
And the other thing, I'm assuming, if you get a congressman involved, I'm sure they've not had an audit done in years.
No, we've done Clinton's Dennard's audit with Clinton. We are treating them completely like they're our customers. When they get a bill, it does not say Dennard Water; it says Clinton Water.
Yeah,
the
but
only
let's say-
people that don't think that Clinton owns Dennard is the health department and USDA.
Do the
How'd they do it?
auditors
They did an
get
audit.
access?
Yeah, they say they have access because
We've had this for 6
You're sending
years.
Dennard water revenue to Dennard, so they've got the.
I'm only sending enough to pay the payment.
Not
Yes,
sending-
I'm not sending anything else. We're operating off that. I am cutting a check for the amount that the bills that USDA payment is.
So they're not taking in a bunch of
They're
extra
not
money.
taking any extra
They're
money.
only getting from us what it takes to pay the
Right,
bill.
but they have an account with a large amount of money
We-
in it that
we have
that
been
belongs to
told.
us.
Those are restricted funds. They can't do anything with them.
Okay, yeah, we're being told
Even if you
that.
got them, we couldn't do things.
There may not be any. With B Branch, there's not.
Right.
B Branch had the same funding, and they had no depreciation accounts. Every one of their accounts says
The USDA person may assume.
they assume. So USDA is coming to the assumption.
Speak one at a time if you can. It's hard for her to do the minutes.
So, since we're collecting money from Dennard water customers, we're obligated to pay the payment.
Yes.
Not really.
Well, I mean-
it's a Dennard obligation.
Can we just stop sending in the money for the payment, and maybe that'll get them to moving?
We missed it one time because their alarm didn't go off, and they sure contacted us and want to know where that money was.
That's what I think. Just cut the money off.
And here's the deal: it goes back to Dennard. It's not Dennard; it's USDA.
But it's Dennard that's withholding the funds from us. So just tell them.
I think this is hang on.
Yes.
This is a myth of a fund. This is a rumor of a fund. This is because real soon we're gonna walk out of here and think somebody's holding on to $5 million.
We do not
This
know.
this is a murmur of a fund, and I'm telling you, I think we should probably stop and look a little deeper before we start talking about and walk out of here thinking someone's got millions of dollars hanging out of their pockets.
I can
Because
tell you it's not.
I don't know that that's gonna bear out. Okay, I'm gonna be real clear. I don't think that's gonna bear out. I think if the question is how do we get this thing across the finish line, I think we need to go back and get with the water board and start talking to them. And I think there might be someone here that might can help the water board out if he wants to. And I think that's great because I love having two attorneys in a room and not just one. So
I can't afford to pay and say you
I
come to all of them.
but I think
You can know what they have in reserve. It won't be close to $1 million, but you can approximate it by how much debt is outstanding. There's a debt service reserve required in statute by USDA. There's a short-lived asset reserve, which you could guess at. It probably is going to be $150,000 or less. I mean, that's probably the ballpark.
If they
I
put
think
it
it's
in there.
probably significantly less than that.
There was a reason we took them over. They couldn't financially do it.
I think the funds on hand were significant.
And they didn't have an operator at the time. I mean, I do know that. I applied for the job there one time. And they called me 6 months later and give it to me. But I had already took another job at that point.
And now you have it.
Well, no, it was a different one. I went to Leslie. I mean,
Seriously though, I feel like this is something that would be a really good thing to pick up with put on the agenda with the water board next month.
So know that I will pursue, and we probably will. I'll get with the guy behind me, and we will probably send the letter to USDA, maybe trying to prompt it going, faster.
And I'm sorry that you've inherited this because I know this isn't a problem you started. But it just looks to me like we've been down this road before. We've had these discussions, it's back and forth, and here we are again.
I understand that.
And I just say we just cut off the payments and just tell them with whatever money, when you run out of money, then we'll talk about it.
You have an agreement that you're operating under, and you can't just stop. So if you want to send a demand letter, tell them that they're not complying with the contract. That's an option. I think the board. This is something that is in the wheelhouse of the water board.
Yeah.
They're an administrative
In that
board,
original contract, did it say that they would turn over all assets?
It's 2000.
Yeah,
I don't know. I
I'll
don't know.
look into
It
that
wasn't on-
also,
yeah,
see if
wasn't
I
on
can
the
find a
agenda
copy
today
of
either.
it.
So I think that's something. I think that's
And
something.
it probably said upon closing, and we've not.
Your other alternative, if you got the stomach for it, is just if you get their board, transfer it over. It's a technical default of the USDA loan, but they've sat on this. What are they going to do? They're not going to take over the system. I mean, they want you. They obviously they think you're operating it or know you're operating it. Think you have it. I mean, in the day, they're really not going to do anything. They're really not going to be mad until they stop getting a payment. So you can do the transfer documents. You can transfer it over, and paperwork wise, you own it. USDA being the hang up because it's collateral specifically pledged by them, not by Clinton. But what are they going to do? Really, like I said, it's a default by the terms of the bond or loan documents, but they're still not going to execute on it. They're not going to take it over and not close it down.
The assignment documents were completed. Where we got hung up with there was a question about a bank account, and again, I would be surprised if it's a question of someone funneling some sort of money, or more of a question
I don't think that is.
of nerves about looking at it, and I think that's why that's why we probably should dig into the issue, and I agree we should push it a little bit too. But I think that's something big, and I'd be happy to go to the next water board meeting and talk, put it on the agenda and talk about it. Yeah.
So you'll have something at the next meeting for us?
Yes.
All right.
Let them get B grants closed.
Yeah. Well, I'll get something started. Thanks, Mark. No, honestly, I didn't know that was going to come up.
Anything else on public comments, anybody? Thank you all. remember what Grant said about the Fire Expo, the 13th, and support that 10 to 5. Hit on one thing I definitely want to talk or say tonight. We've been here a long time, but August the 2nd, 5 to 10 or 5 o'clock going to however long it lasts for David Hess, a fundraiser. David Hess, of all the people that I pick up the phone and call anytime, any human on earth, he would be the guy that would be the first one there. And not just for me, but for a lot of people. And just remember that. I know y'all, what y'all think of him, what the community thinks of him. I think the world of him. And just keep that in mind August the 2nd. He's a good fella and he's good for the community. So appreciate that. July the 19th, I think Family Day down at the park, Emmanuel, I think Ronnie Bonds and that crew. That's a pretty successful time. I hope, Ronnie, I'm getting that right. And then that night, there's also a fundraiser down at Scotland, Victory Missions at 6 o'clock. I think Jenny Jones, 286 Postal Lane. Look for flyers on that. That's a good cause. Historical Society, I missed their meeting the other day. The Historical Society of Van Buren County is Sally Paris and Jim Wisnat, and that's the young people. I think Jim Wisnat's the youngest person on that board. If you're watching this and you maybe got a little time on your hands, that would be a good investment of your time to work that museum, because the folks are just getting older and tireder, and consider that. America 250. I won't go into much of that. We're gonna be 250 July the 4th is coming up. Chuck Wagon Feed is August the 26th on that Tuesday. Remember that. Shout out for the Randy Story family. B Branch, he was a JP for a long time. Very good guy. Passed away recently, and he had his share of heartaches. Brittany's down there raising her boys, and his grandsons and granddaughter. A lot of them been through. That family's been through some tough times. So remember the Story family in particular. Great family. And of course, the folks in Texas. That flooding is catastrophic. It's brutal. So just keep them in your prayers. And if nothing else, thank you for your candor. Yes.
I apologize. I missed my opinion there. I had just a quick question. First of all, I want to say thank you. You came to my house personally. You're a busy man, so I got a lot of respect for you. I appreciate that. So my name is Justin. I am a resident here in town. I just had a quick question about if there's any plans for the sidewalks, any improvements with sidewalks or extension of sidewalks throughout the town, just to improve walkability of the town in certain sections. I knew we came in, and I think when we came in, they were talking about parks and depth streets. Thanks, babe. And so maybe I missed anything, but maybe y'all had some information about that subject.
No, you can see me afterwards, or come by City Hall or whatever. Yeah, but yeah, just come see me. I'll be there all day tomorrow from can to cane, or even after the meeting.
Okay, sure. Thanks, sir.
I also have a question, and this may be a simple answer. Maybe this isn't the place to ask about it, but we're relatively new to Clinton, and so I don't know if this is something that has taken place in the past or not. But are there what are the rules and regulations to establish a regularly occurring farmers market? Is that something that the town has discussed?
Yeah, several people have talked about that, and it'd get legs, and then it kind of doesn't. They had one on 65B for a while, but that's another thing. Just come by and see me. I'll be glad to talk about it. Anything else? Appreciate your time. Thank you all. If nothing else, I'll entertain a motion second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Stand adjourned. Thanks.